Good morning, everybody. It's your boy D Mac. So let's talk. So first off, I'd like to give a shout out to everybody who's definitely supported me in my endeavors with this channel. Salute to the congregation this morning. I hope everybody's doing okay, getting up and get ready to go to work and get your kids ready for school and all of those good things. So let's talk. Um, Yesterday there was another school shooting in Virginia. Luckily, only two children were hurt. They weren't killed. Two more were injured just by the children that were running out of school. We got minor injuries, but only two were shot. And they think that the reason behind it could definitely have been bullying. And so my question is this. I've already done a video about bullying, but now I have this question. Every time that we have school shootings, um, we will see that our Congress and our politicians will always address the guns and they'll always talk about the gun issue, but they'll never talk about the bullying issue that causes the shootings in the first place. Why is this? This is the question that I pose to everybody this morning. So, everybody who comes in earshot of this question, I want you to think about this question because this is really serious. Because I've stated before many times that America has always been reactive and not proactive in anything. And so, if we were to be proactive in stopping bullying in school, then we wouldn't see these school shootings that we see on the regular. But because the schools and the parents have failed to get this under wraps and to address the issue of bullying, we see that there is going to continue to be school shootings as long as this is not addressed. And so, where do we go from here? Because I always like to be solution oriented and give a possible solution to what the problem is. And I already stated it. It's to be proactive instead of reactive and in these bullying situations that are taking place. And the teachers can't act like they don't know that it's taking place. Everybody sees it, and there are things that can be done to help these children that are being bullied. If a child comes forth and says he's been violently attacked or if he's just constantly being harassed by other students, teachers should take that as serious as somebody saying that they've been sexually assaulted, because it's this is as far as the effect that it has on a person, I would say that they're the same. And that's not to take away from anyone that's been sexually assaulted or discredit sexual assault. But what I'm saying is that bullying is on the same level as far as its effect on the mentality of a child, because it's a scar, a deep scar that you can't see, that is there forever. And this is what people are not understanding. And this is where we get these school bullies from. And so in order to decrease the school shootings that have been taking place, the the logical thing would be to address the bullying. So why is the bullying not being addressed? Well, I will submit to you that the bullying is not being addressed because most of the bullies are the privileged children. And if you look at the narrative that has been painted over all of the years when it comes down to anything on TV addressing bullying, you'll see that a lot of the bullies will bully kids because why? Because they don't have the same clothes, they don't have the nice shoes or the nice accessories to go with their stuff. They try to remedy some of the bullying by doing the uniforms in schools. That was a good attempt. That was a good attempt. but still you have the shoes. The kids have nicer shoes. They're always going to find a reason to pick on somebody for the simple fact that they have low self-esteem themselves and they're insecure. And so putting someone else down makes them feel better about themselves. So if we were to pay more attention to building the character and the mindset and the mentality of the students in a positive way, then maybe we would alleviate a whole lot more of the bullying. And so I would go as far as to say that all children that are in school need to see a counselor at least once a week. There should be counselors on school grounds, at least 4 or 5, and they divvy up the workload and they see each one of these students, not only to just check and see how they're doing, but to see if there's something that needs to be addressed that could potentially stop a school shooting. And you would be surprised at what you would find if you were to address that issue in any school across the United States right now. There's a there's a pandemic of bullying. And I've done a video about this before. I've already talked about how America is a bully culture. And you know that because of being a bully, the things that you do, there are consequences that are going to come back to you eventually for your bullying because you're not bigger and stronger than everything and everybody. And these kids, these young, small, helpless kids have figured out that bullies can't fight bullets. A bullet will win over a bully any day. And so they choose the bullet to take care of the bully. That's their only option. They feel like this is their only option, and the only answer to their problems is to take this bully out. Why? Because they have no faith in the adults. The adults can't help me, and so I have to do this on my own. There's no authority figure that can solve this issue for me, so I'm going to solve it myself. And when you put a child in that type of position, anything is liable to happen. And so my blame goes to the adults in the situation who didn't get out in front of it. This is what I am pointing out to everybody right now. As parents, as teachers, we have to pay more attention to our children and what's going on with them in their lives and not just assuming things. Because a lot of times we will assume things because we don't want to deal with the issue ourselves because maybe it touches something that took place with us and we're not ready to handle. So if you as a grown up are still being affected by something that happened to you as a child, just imagine what your child is going through. And so in order to be able to help your child, you're going to have to be able to get over your own fears from all of those years ago. And this is what is going to bring about a change, not only in the children, but in us as adults too. Because as adults, there are people who get bullied on their job. And there's some people who will go back to that job and they'll air the whole place out. And then they'll be like, oh, what happened? He was such a great worker. But nobody is going to address the fact that that man or that woman was being bullied at work. So this bullying is causing these shootings, and I've already looked up the statistics. It's the number one reason for school shootings is bullying. So I go back to my original point. Why then are we not addressing the bullying and the bullies? And that is our issue. There has to be a there has to be a coming together of the minds on this because I'm so sick of every time we have a school shooting, the president or some politician will get on TV and start talking about gun control and how we need to how we need to make sure that we're doing background checks for guns. That has absolutely nothing to do with the problem. The problem is addressing these privileged children who feel like they have the right to make somebody else's self esteem go down because they secretly have low self esteem themselves, because all they have to count on is their material items. And we all know that people who hide behind material things are just overcompensating for something that they're lacking. And children are no different. They do what they see their parents do. And so when these kids come to school and they do what they see their fathers or their mothers do to other people because they feel like they're privileged and really hiding their insecurity, now they've put themselves in a position to where they're going to get shot. And not only them, other students as well. So the lack of dealing with bullies is causing children to die at a rapid pace in the United States. And I blame the parents and the I blame the parents and the school staff who do not address bullying and nip the problem in the bud before it turns into a school shooting. It's a problem all over the country, and this needs to be in Congress. Let's stop talking about guns and gun control because we already know that they're not going to be able to control guns. And what really makes me sick about this is that they'll use these school shootings and these victims as a way to push their gun reform laws when gun reform is not the problem. The problem is stopping the bullying, being that person who steps in and notices when a kid is withdrawn and not himself, and noticing in the hallway when all of these kids are picking on them and stuff like that, and going into the bathrooms and just standing there to listen and see who's being bullied in the bathroom. How much time will that take from you as a teacher? You're walking through the halls most of the times anyway. Just take the time to stick your head in the bathroom. Just take your time to go to those little hidden spots where people go to smoke, where you know that they go to smoke. But I will say this to you: there are a lot of teachers out here who are afraid of confrontation, even with their own students. And so they're being bullied themselves. So we have to get bullying under control before guns. Bullying is the key to stopping these school shootings. Yo, I want to take this time just to say my prayers are going out to anybody that was hurt during the shooting in Virginia yesterday. My prayers go out to everybody that was affected, because anytime you be in an environment like that, whether you're hit by a bullet or just there or see somebody, it's going to cause post traumatic stress disorder in these children. And so now that has to be dealt with. Um, so I'm praying that every single person that was involved in that situation gets the healing and gets the help that they need so that they can move forward in life. Um, let's deal with the root problem and quit beating around the bush, United States, because the more you beat around the bush, there's more children that are going to die. And the blood is on your hands, authority figures, for not addressing the true issue. And it's not gun reform. This is your boy D Mac. You know what I say: sticks and stones can break your bones, but the word can always heal you. I'm out.